I will share with you views that, look at this here. Gibraltar ain't nothing. So, as we go through the lava rocks and shit, I wanted to actually break down a theory that I have about things that I've heard, things that I have read, things that I've put together. So, it is to my understanding that I believe the human race consists of 64 races. Okay? There are 33 founder races that we don't even know. Elohai, Alohai, Anuhai, Anunnaki, part of the mess. Nephilim, the Doku or Duku, the Anu, that later became the Anunnaki, Anunnaku. A lot of deep history in Sumerian texts that people don't know because there's books that you don't read. So begin with Zechariah Sitchin. He scratches the surface. People want to say stuff about or attack or debunk. That's not important. What's important is essentially where do scholars find things, whether they assume or put together or something that's not in writing, or they take two sentences, they put these sentences together, and from these sentences they assume that, I don't know, what would they assume? They assume that, well, if you add this to the sentence, it would make sense. So there's a lot of fauna and flora, and I wish I could switch the camera so I can show this to you. Okay, I'll do it this way so the fish don't run from me. Okay, so just look at what we have here. While I'm explaining, things take place. See, this is life. See this? There's a big one in the back of the earshot of pictures. He's coming forward a little bit. See him showing himself. There he goes. There you go. Beautiful. This is life. Unbelievable. But see, this takes place while I'm out here. He's hiding. He's not really trying to... He's seeing me, so he's like, okay, I'm not. Take a chill pill on this one, boy. Anyway, so where I'm at, let me look at it. Come on. I rest my case, Your Honor. You left there. you wanna sit at home, think about downloads, or you wanna be in where it takes place, where the download actually takes place, you know? Don't get stuck on, you know, sitting on a couch or morning coffees in the same place all over and all over and all over and all over the place. That's for all. Get out there. Do missions. My mission is to recalibrate myself so I can assist you better. That's the ticket. The hat I'm wearing might be tacky, but the sun is blazing and I respect that. So if I do, like, I'm out here 6 hours reporting, snorkeling, underwater photography, whatnot, trying to locate the spinner dolphins, so all that, so I can get into things that are more with me. And the dolphins send ultrasonic sounds. So when dolphins like you, they connect with you. Since I'm trained with the neurophone by Patrick Flanagan, my satchela, which is my inner underwater ultrasonic ear, we all have it. It's just since you've left the womb, you have not, how you say, trained it well enough to hear ultrasonic sounds. But in the water, you will hear it again. You'll be trained. So you stay by the water, the satchela stays trained. So that's part of the things that the founder races have given to you. So 64, there is the I Ching, 64 codons based on the DNA pattern that is a 64 Siddhi. A Siddhi is not just levitation. You gotta get over this. A lot of religion, sorry to say, half-ass. A lot of gurus know scrolls, even in the Hindu and Brahmanic and further back. There is Cosmo Pramana, and Astra Pramana, and Shastra Pramana. So some of the Pramanas, there were scrolls that just got lost over time. But we don't even know what's the original codon of the genetic pre-programming. So I found a book that explains gene codes and gene keys. And the guy in that book, amazingly, explains how a trauma in your life is your shadow. So I'm gonna explain the basic level of a Siddhi. People always think they know what Siddhis are, and Jesus said, you know, don't show me the skills and this, show me the kingdom of heaven. This all is a side effect. Levitation, telekinesis. The more you become the avatar, the more you learn to program this holographic construct. Which, what is this? It is, yes, it's physical, it's organic AI. OI, organic intelligence. And you're here, and you are physical. If people think like the astral is so different, if you had, you know, some liaison in the astral travel, it happened. Things are real. Just your brain doesn't know the difference between a drawn hammer on a piece of paper, the uttering of the word hammer, you form the psychic image of a hammer, and the hammer in hand itself. 3 different expressions for the brain, no difference in reality. How we modulate that reality, that's up to us. So this brings me to the Siddihs, the 64 codons. So in my readings, I found out to help clients when I do readings, because it's overwhelming the work that I do. I have to get into your birth date, birth chart, and then go out of astrology into the I Ching, human design, cross-reference the Gattaca code, where you have glutamine, alanine, selenin, serotonin, you know, all of those amino acids that actually make you function, that make you work. And in those traumas, you can see if people miss certain amino acids, that's why they're depressed, or that's why certain things keep happening to them over and over, because in order to modulate bliss and happiness, it's not just to sit there and be this imaginary person that thinks when I'm thinking bliss, well then I must be in bliss. No, the brain needs to be in the brain state frequentially in order to produce those amino acids. Well, some of the omegas you don't produce. You know why? Some of you don't eat fish. Fish is a conspiracy theory type, what to eat and what not to eat, but we are from the ocean, mind you. If you go back into cellular lineage, cell structural integral history, and let's say, conservatively speaking, 2.5 billion years from one celled organism to this vessel that can hold the consciousness that is not from here. That the vessel, an organism, and pre-positioning of gene codes and divine architecture of energies that you can't even fathom, because science can document, science cannot create, okay? Science finds and can replicate. Creation is what actually is. There are laws of physics that we haven't even heard of. They are. They don't require science for us to prove that they exist. What we need to develop in our life is, how do we develop a third eye that can actually determine, oh, when I tap on the water and put my mouth to the water and do this, the dolphins come because they can hear you. There's a technique, there's a lady that taps the water and makes noise, and they know her voice. They know her and they come. I'm attempting to find somebody that can show me where these dolphins are so we can do some underground scuba snorkeling pictures with the dolphins, if that's possible. But back to the codons. So in my reading, I would go into a CD. One CD could be, let's say, oneness or unity within. That's one CD. These are the 64 basics. There are extra paranormal phenomenal CDs that I will not mention here, but at some point I will mention them. So when people say, you haven't integrated your 6-dimensional body, you have actually no idea what you're talking about, because if you embody the knowledge, you can do. Regurgitating what you read in a very smart way. This is where the trickery will be dissolved by us. And I am the conscious dreamer, and I'm here to dissolve the illusion. That's what people call Maya, is that mind state of what you're thinking that is, but it isn't. So if I say the rocks are kind of like brownish, tarish type color, that is a universal construct. There's no argument. The sky has this color. What you see is what you see. There is no argument. There's no debate. So now, to make this short, in my readings, I can go into, oneness. What's the mediation? As in, what is the work to create oneness within? It's peace of mind. So what's the shadow of that? There are three aspects. The shadow is disorientation, meaning you have no idea who you are, amnesia, and certain patterns in your life keep reoccurring and reoccurring and reoccurring. So, there is an amino acid that the Viagra industry exploits. I don't have that problem, but this is for males who have that problem. You know what that calls dysfunction. And there is, if I'm not mistaken, an amino acid that gets you turned on by a woman sending her signals, and that amino acid is called alanine. But guess what is missing in males that have been traumatized, abused, depressive for a long time? Your brain stops producing alanine. And Viagra doesn't teach you to get back into your mojo, to like yourself, to love yourself, to feel love and reflect love, and however intimate that is expressed. So an amino acid is missing. Well, if we find that and inspire the brain to produce that feeling, you get that amino acid very carefully, in very fine increments, because it can go, you're like, oh my God, all of a sudden I feel myself, and you don't know what to do with that. Spiritual maturity is required to apply that. So I'll tell you what my problem was, and I solved it, is I had Lyme for over 37 years, and I realized that I have muscle recovery problems when I work out. Like when I work out heavy just to get this back, it's like, oh shit, like 2 days, I'm knocked out, I gotta sleep, and I'm groggy, and I'm like, my muscles are sore for too long. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm having the wrong diet here. The diets didn't work. That's why a lot of bodybuilders also make a mistake. You can't just pump all the clock and all the minerals in the world into your system, where your system is overwhelmed with too many minerals at one time, and some of them are not beneficial. So the beneficial ones drown in your intake, and you're not getting conscious, you're not getting a slim stomach, you're not getting muscular, you're not doing anything for your body. So now when you detail that now, this is a whole nother other industry that I'm just mentioning to you. When you get into this teaching, which is I'm studying, like over 20 years I Ching, that's why I can like map this out and I can point out. So here's what I did with me, and so I believe that works, because I trust myself. I found, which I don't know the names right now, and I'll have to put that in the edit, amino acids that are missing in my muscle recovery because of the trauma of a pre-birth death and car accident that I was in, basically. So I went back to the trauma, I had created the dialogue, and I added also the amino acids after I healed my Lyme, training the coding of the sub-program of my immune defense system, because that they are codes. You're running codes. So one code could be all that was done to me when I was 5. Boop, and all of a sudden you have silica missing. So you're not that smart, you're kind of retarded. Everybody thinks you're retarded, you need to go to a special ed class, and everybody's, yeah, you go to retard, and you accept that reality. You're not a retard. Pardon that for, I have to just use graphic words. You're not dumb or slow. You have mineral and amino acidic deficiency to process and compute what's being projected towards you. And I know I'm onto something, and you're witnessing this here as I'm sharing the secrets of the 64 codons and the origin of the human race in part. So to wrap this up real quick, as I'm going back into the jungle, is this. When you know what minerals are missing and the amino acids are in a correct manner translated back to your body, and your advanced cell training is up that you can beat any disease that you have in your body will correct itself. So the minute I started, a little bit of these, I think 3 amino acids that were missing, and all of a sudden my body responds like a supercomputer, and I got weight, but like weight as in this came back, and I'm like, whoa. I wasn't that skinny anymore. That explains also why I was that skinny when I was 18, because it's like constant stress, hypertension, running and running and running, and you don't even know, how do I switch that off? What do I do with myself? How do I bring peace? So peace is not only brought by meditation. You need to have and I will do a course on that for exchange, of course, where I break down the Gattaca code, the DNA sequencing, and all the amino acids that need to be produced in a correct manner. Make no mistake, that is scientific fact. If you have an amino acidic imbalance, case let's say in alcoholism, you're probably missing 6 or 7 amino acids. And that will lead to a depression. In order to compensate for the depression, you create something that numbs part of the personality, which can also then split it with whatever you do, and you alter yourself continuously, you alter personality programming. And we can change that by giving the brain the experience with that and with the required training. I will develop a human protocol avatar training program where you can effectively train your cell structure and you come back in ways that meditation in 30 years cannot cover, because imagined meditation doesn't do it. You need to have physical facts. Even a brain needs to have amino acids. So when somebody says you need to lose your mind or shut your mind off, my girl said something very, 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 very smart and very deep. And I don't even know if she knows. It's like she has these epiphanies since she's been on the island. Many spiritual books there say you need to lose your mind or shut your mind off. And she's like, what sense is it in shutting the physical mind off when you are in a physical body? And here's what I say to this, to wrap it up. The mind kinism, my friend Ravens always says that, is the mechanism, programming construct of the mind. That you need to transmute. You cannot shut it off. Like if the engine runs wrong, you turn it off, everything goes to... You want to go, non-essential wheels shouldn't spin in the cerebral cortex. Cerebrum, cherubim, cerebral. So it's all connected. Maria Magdalene, medulla oblongata, Magdalene, the glands, and the angels, and the codes, it's all alchemy. So this is just a brief teaser on knowing that you need your mind and you need to ego to process this here. So egoless and mindless is not acceptable, doesn't work. You need your mind to assist you in a proper divine way and manner, and you need your ego to guide energy out, not edging God out, energy guided out. And that means you're expressing yourself. So a painter needs the ego to express a painting. But service to self, taking energy from others, is not the divine purpose. So there's ego, energy guided out, and there's ijai, energy guided in. Know the balance, know the moderation, and you'll be well on your way to the flip side. Thank you.